This is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. I'm here on a trip in Somerset, Pennsylvania, and I'm outside the Giant Eagle, and it's a little bit past dinner time, and I gotta go shopping for some food for the rest of my trip, for tomorrow and maybe later tonight. I gotta eat some food, so we're gonna go inside the Giant Eagle. I don't know if they have an organic section. I'm just here to check it out, and I'm gonna share with you what I'm gonna buy and what I would buy if I lived in this area and if I was on a raw food style diet. So let's head inside the Giant Eagle and check it out. So we're here inside the Giant, and this is just a standard everyday American supermarket. I'm going to show you guys what you can eat in the produce department if you're in the middle of nowhere. I mean, in the middle of Pennsylvania. This is Somerset, Pennsylvania, and I don't really know what's here, but we're going to walk around the produce department and find out. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is if you're going to eat organic or not. I mean, I definitely think it's more important to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, whether they're organic or not, than eat processed food, and most of my friends would agree with me on that. I would also agree that it's probably better to eat non-organic produce than maybe something like dairy or meats, because I mean, after all, the animals that you're eating are eating non-organic anyway. So it's always best to eat lowest on the food chain, because the lower on the food chain you eat, the less basically pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, and suicides that you will be eating. So me personally, since I am here, I eat mostly organic, and I have actually bad reactions to non-organic foods. So I personally don't eat a lot of non-organic foods. Now, if I was completely starving and nothing else was available, there'd be a few things that would be conventional that I would eat, and I'm going to show you guys that today. But the other thing is, if you can't afford organic, don't just say, oh, I can't afford organic, I'm not going to even eat any raw fruits and vegetables, I'm just going to eat processed foods. No, don't do that. It's better for you to eat non-organic fruits and vegetables than processed foods, and it's alright. Just do the best you can. If you don't have a lot of money, you don't have availability of organics, just get the conventional. You're going to be alright. So first, let's go ahead and walk around this produce department and see what we could find. So this is their vegetable section in their produce department, and this is all conventional stuff, and guess what? It's really healthy, and once again, I only eat organic greens, so I'm going to pass, but if you don't, you could go for it. Nothing wrong with that. Over in this area, they have more vegetables, and some of the things I would eat are the hydroponically grown vegetables, such as these guys. Cucumbers, these are Euro Fresh Farms, and it says certified pesticide-free and grown in the USA. So generally the cucumbers and also the peppers, right here it says produced by St. David's Hydroponics in Canada, product of Canada. So in general, hydroponically grown foods and greenhouse grown foods I would eat, because they use much less pesticides, if any, and in this case it's certified pesticide free. So I generally feel safe with greenhouse grown crops. Mainly the main things you're going to find are the hothouse cucumbers, hothouse peppers, and sometimes the hothouse baby lettuces, and also hothouse tomatoes. So in this section we have the non-organic carrots. If they didn't have organic carrots, I may get the carrots, but I probably wouldn't unless I was starving. Mushrooms, on my style diet, I don't eat a lot of mushrooms. I do eat them rarely and occasionally, and I would eat some of the more medicinal mushrooms, such as the shiitake or maitake. And some mushrooms may contain high levels of vitamin D, and they're selling vitamin D mushrooms now. Let me see if they have any in the store. And these are actually mushrooms that are exposed to the sun, and they get a lot of vitamin D. So vitamin D is an important nutrient, and if you're not getting enough sun, which I recommend you do first, get some sun so you can make your own vitamin D free and clear, I would say it's probably better to eat mushrooms than to take an artificial supplement tablet. More vegetables, non-organic, that I wouldn't eat. Here's their herb section, and check it out. They have a nice selection of herbs, and all these herbs are USDA organic. So from the basil, the cilantro, rosemary, oregano, dill, really nice. A lot of them are organic, so I would eat those. Next, we got some fruits, some packaged fruits. I rarely ever get the packaged fruits, and let me tell you why. The main reason is because, number one, is especially things like pineapples, once they're cut, they're acidic and they're stored in plastic. That's going to leach out the plastic, so I would encourage you to always buy your pineapples in their skin and skin them yourself. Not only are you going to save money, but you're going to minimize your plastic exposure. Also, I kind of wonder about the when they do cut up the fruits, the sanitation of the facility that's doing that. But here it is. The options are, if the options are either grabbing this and eating it on the run or grabbing a candy bar, I don't have to tell you which one is better. I would rather buy a melon, just slice a melon in half and just scoop out and eat the melon than to pay, wow man, $5 for this. Over here, the green section. Now, even if the store doesn't have organic, food or an organic produce section, in general now, many stores will have organic greens, such as the baby arugula, or the baby spinach, or even the baby spring mix. These are pretty common for many stores, once again, even if they don't have an organic produce section. Even Walmarts may carry some organic greens. So I would get those, absolutely no problem, but I wouldn't get any of the non-organic salad mixes over here. Now let's talk about some of the fruits. So all these are the non-organic fruits, including the grapes, more grapes, strawberries, raspberries, and other berries. And in general, because I am spoiled and I do live in California, I just don't often get non-organic fruits. Actually, unless I was really starving in a foreign country, I would not get any of these fruits. Especially don't buy non-organic strawberries is my recommendation to you, because strawberries are actually one of the highest sprayed fruits that are out there. So if you're going to get strawberries, buy organic, or even better yet, grow them yourself. And I don't have to tell you guys that everybody watching this video should be having a garden, or at least a windowsill herb garden in their kitchen that you can grow year-round. By far, growing your own food is the best food anywhere. And if you want to learn more about growing food, be sure to check my other YouTube channel called Growing Your Greens, and that's available at growingyourgreens.com. So did you know that bananas are the #1 selling fruit of all times? I mean, they sell so many bananas, but I would rarely eat any conventional bananas. They are sprayed with a fungicide called thiamabenzol, not too good for us. Plus the growing practices may not be so good, so they got the conventional bananas on the front, and here on the back we have the organic bananas. So yes, I would get the organic bananas. As much as I don't like bananas that are imported, I like to eat bananas when I'm in the tropics, when they're growing there naturally, because they taste so much better. These, to me, taste like cardboard. It's like, maybe for the standard American person, it's like, going out to a good pizza restaurant that makes a really good pizza, like fresh, versus like a frozen pizza. That's how these taste to me. They just don't taste good, but they're good and inexpensive source of calories if I need it and if I'm traveling. So I'm glad they have bananas here, and actually I'm gonna buy a bunch because I might get hungry, and they're quick and easy, and once again, rich in potassium. So some of the fruits that I would buy that would be conventional are the tropical fruits. I love tropical fruits, and some of them actually are lower in pesticide residues from some of the reports I have seen. So some of the popular ones that I would get are these guys right here. These are actually the Caribbean red papayas. Now when you're picking out papayas, you always want it to be nice and yellow or orange as possible. Here's some better ones looking like this. But these ones are from Brazil, but you got to watch out. Any papayas from Hawaii may be genetically modified. So in general, I stick with the ones from the Caribbean. This one's from Belize, or the ones from Mexico. And sometimes I'll get these ones from Brazil. I definitely usually like these guys. They're called Mardol papayas. And the Belize one's definitely really good. And you want them a little bit soft. See over here, they have some little baby pineapples. You're going to pay a lot of money for these pineapples, and I might get them if they're on sale and really cheap. These happen to be $4 each, so we'll put that back there. Of course, they got the brown coconuts, $3 each. That's actually a pretty penny for these guys. I probably wouldn't buy these unless I was starving. Another thing I would get, though, are the mangoes. So these are imported mangoes. They're conventional, $1.50, and I would buy these if I was really hungry, if there were no organic foods available. So even in Pennsylvania here, they have young Thai coconuts, or young coconuts. I get so many viewers always ask me, John, where do I get young Thai coconuts? Well, ask at your local grocery store such as this, and if they don't carry them, ask if they could bring them in. Oftentimes this brand, Frida's or Melissa's, is a specialty produce seller that the grocery stores deal with, and they may be able to special order them if they don't have them in stock. And once again, instead of getting in-store cored pineapple, I'd rather buy the whole pineapple. And once I got this home, I would just take off the top and slice it all off and eat it on up. Usually one meal for me is like one pineapple is one meal. But that, of course, is if you get a ripe one. If you don't get a ripe one, be prepared, it's going to burn your mouth. Now that's not a problem if you're eating like 1 or 2 bites, but if you're trying to eat a whole pineapple in one sitting, that can be a really big problem. So how do you pick a ripe pineapple? Well, you want to feel it, and it doesn't want to be too smushy or soft. And then you don't want to see a lot of green. I mean, when I went to the Dole factory in Hawaii, they have a chart on the wall, which pineapple is ripe. and they have all different colors and shades, and the answer was, they're all ripe. We pick them the ripest as possible. Well, I can absolutely tell you that is completely false. They're picking them so that they could sell them so that they don't go bad. But what you want to look for ripeness is you want to look and you want to make sure it's a nice like yellow color. So let me see here if we can find one. This one looks to be about the ripest one here. Can you guys see the difference in color between that? This is mostly all dark green, and you can see here this is like a nice bright yellow color, and it's a little bit soft but not too soft. If it's too soft, it's getting old. Optimally, I'd like the whole pineapple to be this color. So if you're ever in the grocery store and you see a pineapple that's all this color right here, like down in here without the green, get it, because that's a ripe pineapple and it's going to be so good. So in this area they have some of the melons and apples, and in general I don't eat conventional apples and melons. Over in this area they have the tomatoes and avocados, and so yes, I would get non-organic avocados, which they have over here. They don't look too good, but they also have, luckily enough, here at this store, organic avocados, which I probably would buy. In addition, they have some organic vine-ripe tomatoes, which are really good, and some stem tomatoes. And I'd rather get the stem tomatoes on the stem. They're usually a little bit more riper than the vine tomatoes that are just nice, hard, and pink. And if they didn't have the organic tomatoes, most times I would get these guys right here. If you look down, these guys are the stem tomatoes that are conventional. And for those of you that don't know, all the conventional produce will always start usually with a 4 and be 4 digits long. And the organic stuff is going to be start with a 9 and have 5 digits. So this one's 94664 for the organic tomatoes, and this one is actually 4664 for the non-organic one. So these non-organic ones, these are from Eurofresh Farms, and once again, these are the hydroponically grown tomatoes. How do you know if the tomatoes are hydroponic or not? Well, you could tell by the sticker and by the brand. You'll get to know the greenhouse or hothouse grown tomatoes. Also, sometimes they'll have the box, and you could read the box that'll say greenhouse grown. Sometimes they'll have little tags on them, or sometimes the ad in the store will say, you know, hothouse tomatoes. In this case, in this store, it actually says stem tomatoes, which actually I don't see too often. But another way is on these tomatoes here to know if they're hothouse grown. I would just get them in a package. I mean, these are Eurofresh Farms Campari fresh tomatoes on the vine. And actually, these tomatoes are the best tomatoes to buy that are conventional, in my opinion. They have really good flavor. And it says right here, grown in the USA and grown by Eurofresh Inc. And I know they are a greenhouse or hothouse grower. And it says here, certified pesticide free. So to me, the certified pesticide free means a lot. Plus, these just taste really good. So the best produce in this whole produce department are these guys right here. These are fresh herbs, actually still growing in the little pots. So these are still in the pots, growing fresh. You can't really see the pots, and I can't really get them out. But these are alive. You could take these home, plant them in your ground, depending on the year. You could plant them in a windowsill if it's even the winter time. But buy these, take them home, and if you could use them for food, just cut them and eat them. And that's fresh, vibrant, living, raw food. It's the best here because it's still alive. It hasn't been cut. Once things get cut, put it in the fridge, they start to degrade, and they can lose up to 50% of certain nutrients even within 24 hours. So I'd encourage you to, eat as many things as fresh as possible. Here's some cilantro. I mean, this cilantro looks amazing. These guys are $3 each, but nonetheless, these are alive, and the cut cilantro is not. So this is by far the best thing. Highly recommended that you eat fresh, living stuff just like this. So one of the things I want you guys to be aware of, in most produce departments now, they'll have this right here. This is actually called Dr. Richter's Fresh Produce Guide. So what this is a little book, and this is like a laminated book they have on a display here. And in this display they have all these recipes, which are cooked recipes on how to use some of the more exotic fruits and vegetables. But in this book, you could also buy this book online if you want to learn more about fruits and vegetables. And they have a section for fruits, vegetables, herbs and spices, and specialty and ethnic. So why don't we go ahead and open it up to the fruit section. And in the fruit section, they'll talk about the different kinds of pears. So on this page, they talk about Asian pears, Bartlett pears, Boss pears, Cummings pears, Farrell pears, Packham pears, Seckel pears. Oh, that's my favorite. These guys are so delicious, so juicy, and small too. And Taylor's Gold. And it'll give you the nutrition information, also the general information, and more importantly, the selection and storage. Now, while the selection and storage may not be completely accurate, if you don't know anything about fruits and vegetables, it's definitely going to be the best information to guide you to get the most vibrant and freshest fruits and vegetables. Let's go ahead and open to the vegetable section and find something kind of uncommon here. Here's one. Let's see, kohlrabi. So once again, in the vegetable section, here's the greens. They have all different kinds of greens, from green leaf lettuce, iceberg lettuce, kale, kohlrabi, mustard greens, radicchio, rapini, broccoli rab, red leaf lettuce. I mean, we could just go on and on. Here's the onion section, peppers, mushrooms. So in this book, you're going to learn about all the different fruits and vegetables and their nutrition, how to select them. I mean, it's a wealth of knowledge. I mean, I haven't like memorized this book, but I know a lot of the different produce items because I eat them. So if you're not familiar with fruits and vegetables, highly recommend you get this book, read through it, study it, so that you will become an expert like I am. Let's see, let's open to the specialty and ethics section. So over here they even talk about arrowroot, breadfruit. That's, you don't see those too much. Galangal, I'm growing that in my garden. Cactus, nopales. You're going to learn about all kinds of stuff. Low bach, man, I don't even know about that one. That looks like some kind of daikon radish. The kiwano or horn melon that I had on a previous episode. Jicama. Oh, here's my favorite. Mamey sapote. Man, this one tastes like pumpkin pie. Salsify. Wow, that's rare. Prickly cactus, pomelo, Shanghai bok choy. Get back to me. So in that book, once again, it's called Dr. Richter's. So in that book, once again, it's called Dr. Richter's Fresh Produce Guide. It's going to guide you to let you know about all the produce, fruits and vegetables, and even ethnic and specialty produce that's out there, and give you a sense of what's available. There's so many more produce items that are available that you may be aware of, and a lot of them are actually in that book, but even so, there's a lot more that's even not in that book, so be aware. But these are all the most common ones available in commerce and in trade. And once again, I want to remind everybody that you want to rotate your diets. So today, if you're eating collard greens for dinner, tomorrow night eat some lettuce. The following night eat some dandelion. The following night maybe eat some chickweed or eat some purslane. You always want to be rotating up your diet. Today, if you're eating bananas, tomorrow eat apples. The following day eat oranges. The next day eat cantaloupe, and then eat strawberries. Mix up what you're eating every single day to flood your body with a wealth of different nutrients, antioxidants, micronutrients, minerals, trace minerals. Oh, it's also good for you. Eat the fresh fruits and vegetables. They're really the best. Let's continue our tour on. We got a few more sections to look at. So in this section, they got the onions and the potatoes. And my diet, I barely ever eat any onions or potatoes, so we're going to skip this section. Over here, of course, they have all your bottled juices. Now, the Odwalla and the Naked, all these have been basically pasteurized, either with temperature or high-pressure pasteurization. So once again, I don't recommend drinking any pasteurized bottled juices. I'd recommend you make your own fresh juices at home. And yes, I can sell you a juicer. Check my other website, discountjuicers.com, where actually I do juicer comparisons so that you can get the juicer that's going to be right for you. I even have a video talking about the best juicer for somebody on a living and raw foods diet. So you might want to check that video out if you haven't gotten a juicer already. Let's see here. So yes, I would pass on all the juices, except if you're not at the place to always make your fresh juices. If you're going to grab a soda, a Coca-Cola, 7-Up, Sprite, Diet Coke, guess what I'm going to say? These juices are way better than any Coca-Cola you could buy, but fresh juices beat these juices. I like to live my life by the motto, good, better, best. You always want to try to do the best you can, but if you can't do the best, then maybe do the better. Next over here we have more fruits, non-organic apples bagged up, and some pears. Here's some Asian pears. These guys are really good if you've never tried them before. They're kind of a cross between an apple and a pear. They can get really sweet and good, and there's actually so many more varieties. Here they're labeled Asian pear, but there's at least half dozen varieties that I couldn't name off the top of my head. 20th century, Shishinki, man, they're so good. Once again, some citrus, oranges, lemons, limes, all non-organic, so we're going to pass on those. Grapefruits, once again, I'm going to pass on those. Now, if there wasn't anything else, I may consider those. So luckily enough, we're now in the organic produce section, so there's finally something I could eat. So they have in this section, and pretty much I would eat anything here. They got the apples, all different varieties of apples, Red Delicious, Granny Smith, Galas, the Anjou pears, and actually these guys are getting pretty ripe here. You can see by the coloring, they're getting a little bit yellow and a little bit soft. For example, here's one that's not quite as ripe. You can see the difference in color. It really bothered me when somebody bites into a hard pear. I've had them off the tree where it like literally dropped in front of me because it was just ripe, and it dropped off the tree when it's completely ripe and it almost splattered on the ground. I picked it up and ate it, and it was like eating basically pears out of a can that's been like in syrup. I mean, that's how sweet this pear was out of the tree. So It's rare that I eat pears that are in the store because they just don't taste the same as that one pear that I had on the tree that was super ripe. Here they have some of the oranges, and before I go any further, one of my favorite dressings is actually I could just take an orange, juice it, get the fresh orange juice, and blend it up in the blender with some macadamia nuts. I could have a nice orange cream dressing for a salad. Mmm, delicious. Let's see, next here would pass on the tofu. They got organic cucumbers, excellent for juicing. They got organic eggplant. I rarely eat any eggplant. Let's see, the zucchinis. You can spiralize the zucchinis. Red bell peppers, definitely eat these before I ate even the hothouse ones. And let's talk a minute about green bell peppers. Hopefully you guys aren't eating green bell peppers. Green bell peppers are peppers that have not fully matured and ripened, because green bell peppers will turn either red, yellow, or orange when they're fully ripe. So don't eat the green bell peppers. The bell peppers are in the Solanaceae family, which is the same family as the eggplants and the tomatoes, and they may contain solanine and other toxins if they're not fully ripe. Yeah, so that's what gives it the funny flavor when you bite into it. And if you notice, these green bell peppers are much less expensive than the reds, and that's because if the plant doesn't make ripe ones, it can produce a lot more. Next, they got the cauliflower. Cauliflower is really good. I like to take the cauliflower, put it into the food processor with the S-blade and pulse it to make little rice-like bits, and then I'll make basically a nori roll with the rice bits, or you could actually just put a dressing over all the little rice bits and eat it as a little salad. Next, we got the celery hearts, which I would eat. I would usually just take these celery hearts and just chop them up all the way down, make little shreds out of them, and that could be my salad instead of eating a salad of greens like lettuce or something like that. Of course, you can't forget the sprouts. Sprouts are definitely good to eat. I love eating sprouts. I would encourage everybody to grow their own sprouts. Sprouts are really easy to grow and actually really inexpensive to grow. Let's see, these guys right here, these broccoli sprouts in my hand, that's $4.50 for 4 ounces of food. Now that's really expensive. Of course, I missed the kiwis, the organic kiwis. I would eat these in a pinch, but I'd probably eat some apples before I eat the kiwis. Most kiwis that I've found, especially these ones being imported from New Zealand, are not quite as ripe as they could be. Kiwis grow in California, and I'm used to getting nice kiwis that almost like literally melt in your mouth, not the ones that are nice and like almost sour like a lemon. So these are the only thing I'd eat them, but otherwise I'm going to pass. On the bottom row here, they have the apples, and I'd encourage you to buy apples in bulk like this. They're less expensive than buying them by the each. They got the Granny Smiths. At this time, they're about $5 for 3 pounds. And also, they got oranges. The oranges are $4.49 for 3 pounds, so a better deal than the apples. This is definitely a good way to save some money. Buy them in bulk and save. Of course, they got the Iceberg Lettuce, and you know, people give Iceberg Lettuce a bad name, but I like to enjoy Iceberg Lettuce because of the crunch sometimes. Over here, that's hiding behind here is broccoli. Not looking too optimal, but broccoli is yet another powerhouse vegetable that you should be eating that does contain properties that may help with fighting things like cancer. Of course, at the end here, we got the organic carrots. So the organic carrots, I don't often like to eat carrots, especially the orange carrots. If I was going to eat carrots, I'd get some heirloom carrots. These carrots and these orange carrots have been basically bred for sweetness. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing because it makes them taste better, but they're not bred for nutrients. So I prefer to eat heirloom carrots that are either like yellow or red or white or even purple that have a lot more antioxidants and less sugar. So in general, I'll eat these if there's nothing else. But you know, especially something like these carrots are good for a long trip when you're falling asleep in the car to crunch on. It'll keep you awake. That's my tip. Of course, if you are going to juice carrots, always better deal to get the big bag. This is a 5-pound bag, and this 5-pound bag here is $5, so it's about $1 a pound. Or if you get them by the 1-pound bag, you're going to pay $1.50 a pound. So especially buying in bulk is going to save you money when eating raw foods. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode touring around this regular grocery store here in Somerset, Pennsylvania, to show you guys what I would eat. Once again, I want to encourage you to eat a diet rich in fruits and vegetables, whether they're non-organic if you can't find organic, or organic is too expensive for you. It's still going to be better than eating processed foods in canned bottles and jars, or even dairies and meats, in my opinion. So once again, eat your fresh fruits and vegetables and eat organically if you can. And even better than organic is grow your own food that is beyond organic. And check my other YouTube channel, growingyourgreens.com, for some hints and tips on how to grow your own food. Once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're the best.